Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome to our webinar. Today we're going to talk about how Skyhawk security can stop alert fatigue, specifically by unifying vulnerability management with AI-driven breach analysis. So on our agenda today, so in a moment, I will introduce my colleague, Asaf Shahar, who's speaking with me today. The common alert problem and other common issues we see from our customers. We'll give an overview of the platform. Asaf will give a demo. We'll go through a quick case study, show how we can reduce business risk with Skyhawk, and then the next steps that are available to you. So my name is Jennifer Gill, and I run marketing here at Skyhawk Security. And I've been in high-tech marketing for, actually, I can say more than 25 years now. And I've had leadership positions at various companies in IT and security. Asaf Shahar is our VP of product, and he also has more than 20 years of experience in product management with security products specifically. More than 15 years in leadership and over a dozen patents. So thank you, Asaf, for helping me out today with the webinar. I really appreciate it. So cloud security reality. So does this look familiar? You have your cloud DevOps team, your SOC, and then red and blue teams, and they're all trying to achieve the same goal. But they're very much siloed in terms of how they're doing it and what they're doing. So you have the cloud DevOps team where business agility is essential. They're trying to get things ready for the business. Then the SOC and the red and blue teams are trying to work together to achieve security, but they're doing things differently. So the SOC has all these alerts. They have a lot of blind spots. They are resistant. They're resource constrained in terms of how they can respond. And the red and blue teams are trying to keep up with the evolving threat landscape, but things are taking just longer there. Their assessments are outdated almost as fast as they complete them because threat actors are changing their approaches. AI makes things faster, and cloud architectures are changing very, very quickly. So the bottom line is, despite major investments, there's always a high risk of a breach. And so it's difficult to have these siloed teams when they are trying to achieve the same thing, but they're siloed. It's difficult. So the issue becomes that these teams are reactive, and reactive cloud security ends up being expensive for your company. So 80% of time is wasted on false positives because they're reacting to something and trying to resolve it, only to find out it was a waste of their time. Because they're working on things that are a waste of their time, this increases the time to respond and to detect, which increases the risk to the breach. This causes financial exposures. The average breach cost is $4.5 million and rising. And then it becomes strategic paralysis. Security becomes a bottleneck. They can't move forward because they're trying to achieve things, but security holds them back. And all of this just gets in the way of innovation, and still that breach risk is high. So the cloud risk cannot be managed and reduced when you're sorting through an ocean's worth of alerts. And this is something that we see a lot with our customers. So they have all these disparate tools that they're working with, and they're getting many, many, many alerts from their SIM, from their CNAPP, from whatever it is, and they're reacting to these. So you have all these security tools giving you all these alerts, and is your team resolving the right ones? Is what you're doing actually reducing cloud risk? Skyhawk shows you the ones that matter, and you'll see this in the demo. So this is one example of the customer. They had over 41,000 vulnerabilities. Putting that through the red team analysis, so giving you the adversarial view of what these vulnerabilities, how these vulnerabilities could be used by a threat actor to achieve a goal. It turns out that just over 2,200 are exploitable. Only 124 are weaponizable, and 114 are affecting crown jewels. Now your security team knows where to focus. If you give someone 41,000 things and say, hey, figure out which ones are important, that's going to be hard. We tell you, yeah, you do have 41,000 things. Here are the 114 that matter to you, and that if you resolve them, they will end up in reducing cloud risk. So you're able to achieve true cloud risk reduction. So with Skyhawk security, our proactive approach, you're able to prevent breaches before they happen. So you have your noise risk reduction. So this was an example from a customer. They had 60,000 versus the 41,000 you just saw. And that was actually reduced to one alert affecting a crown jewel. Um, Real-time visibility. So it's an instant calculation of attack paths to crown jewels. So you understand what can be used by threat actors to get to your most valuable assets. This runs continuously. So our AI-based Purple team proves your defenses work 24/7 or identifies the gaps that you need to fix. And this helps you achieve operational excellence. So it's really a strategic shift because you're going from reacting to 41,000 alerts. So figuring out that the 114 that you have, those are the ones that need to be addressed to achieve a reduction in cloud risk. So it's really, instead of sorting through all those tens of thousands, getting to the ones that really matter. So talked about this a little bit already. So this just shows you the same example, but in the product. So you can see the vulnerabilities as they scale down to 114, and you see some detail. It tells you where they are, what the CVE is, the platform, when it was first detected. So, and you'll see this again in the demo, but just to show it actually does reduce cloud risk. And then how we do this is with our AI-based Purple team. So it delivers continuous proactive protection. So first, the AI-based Red team discovers the cloud environment's inventory, identifies all the cloud assets, and then determines which ones are crown jewels. Where are your valuable business assets? Then it analyzes the least resistant paths to those valuable business assets, and then it creates an attack and then simulates those attacks. So, and then with the red team gets past the AI-based blue team, we're able to identify posture gaps, generate automated response or remediation recommendations. And then finally, we adapt our cloud threat detection and response. So because our CDR platform has seen the attack already in this AI-based environment, it will know sooner when it sees that attack again. Hey, I know when they get to here, they can get to this very, very valuable business asset. I'm going to stop it sooner. So it's really quite a powerful platform. It continuously updates. So it's always looking for where the new crown jewels are, where the new threats are, where the new attack paths are. So, and I'm going to turn it over to Asaf. He's going to go into a little bit more detail on how we do this attack creation.
Hi, thank you, Jennifer. So when we are talking about attack simulation, Purple Team, so what is actually the technology behind that? You mentioned that we are doing what we call a digital twin of the customer environment. So what does it mean? So we start by analyzing and getting all the inventory of the environment. Our solution is fully agentless, so we are just tapping into the environment with read permissions, so we can collect all the information about all the different assets, the settings. So the first thing is to get the list of all the inventory. Move on. Um, then what we do is understand how this inventory is constructed into the cloud segment. So we are aware of the different accounts, different clusters, and we map these assets into this graph and analyze all the topology, both the IAM topology, so it meaning which asset has a permission to do which action to each service, and what is the network connectivity. And based on that, we are building the, say, topology map. Move on. Again. Using that, we can understand all the ways that these attacks are connected. We also collect all the vulnerability information, the CVEs, the application security issues, all the things that can allow a lateral movement within the environment. That gives us all the map of all the ways that you can create an attack. Using that, we are looking at all the initial access points to this graph, to the environment. From the initial access, we are looking to all the ways that that has path to a crown jewel assets. And what we are doing, we are mapping each asset to understand which one holds sensitive data or is important to the business. So once we map all the destination, the impact points, what we call an impact point, we look on all the ways that I can create paths in the graph from an initial access to these impact points. Once analyzing that, we can chart each one of the possible attack vectors that actually weaponized within this environment. We have this huge database of TTPs, attack TTPs, that this is the basis that allow us to construct all the possible different attack scenario. So once we are correlating all this together, we can show the customer the real attack path, that the weaponized attack path within his environment, with all the actual scripts that if you would run them, the attacks will execute successfully at any given time. So he has all the proof that he needs to understand what are the problems, and from there we can suggest what would be the proper remediation, what would be the proper response. And another thing that we do, we also validate within his existing controls whether he has enough or proper security control in place that would alert in time. And if not, we are also suggesting what would be needed, what are the rules that he need to add to his existing control. For example, his SIEM or CloudWatch, Splunk, each one of the security controls that he have, we can provide the suggestion. So let's quickly move to the demo.
Yep. All right, sounds good. So let me stop sharing and then over to you, Assad. Oh, and I forgot to mention that if you want to ask questions, please use the chat feature. And we'll be taking those at the end of the webinar. I'm sorry for not mentioning that sooner.
Okay, so this is the portal, the landing page. When you open our portal, this is the landing page that you get. It summarizes all the information from the different models that we have. Today we will be concentrated in the what we call the red team and the unified vulnerability management. When I'm going into the unified vulnerability management, what I what I get is a list of what we call scenarios. Each one of these entries in the table present a unique pattern of sequence of a possible attack path or attack vector. When we are talking about scenarios, these scenarios didn't happen, okay? This is a simulated attack, as I explained. So these are not actual alerts. This is just a possible attack vectors, kind of a breach analysis in the current environment. Let's go into one of them and understand better how it looks like. So what we see here is a kind of a timeline or a sequence of a possible attack. We see it always starts with a malicious actor sitting in his home. So it's starting always outside. We're not starting within the environment or the middle of the attack. It's starting from an external malicious actor. In this case, it simulates a credential theft that through this credential theft, he is doing some lateral movement, utilizing here a critical CV on this machine to install a crypto miner. Let's see how the attack script or playbook looks like. So you can see that we are providing a step-by-step explanation of all the attack scenario steps with the exact commands with all the relevant parameters that construct this attack. And as I said, if you are copy paste all these command and you run them in a sequence, and you can see that there are a lot of commands in this attack. It will execute the attack. So this is what we call the red team, the part that's showing how the attack is being executed. From the other side, we have the blue team. The blue team is the defender. So what consists with the defender? The defender is here is constructed with two parts. One is our native controls. So this is our CDR, and these are the activities or the anomalies that will be triggered that will actually give you the detection of this event. I mentioned before that we are doing a validation of a third-party security control. In this case, we are showing the existing security control of CloudWatch rules. And in this case, the customer is using an endpoint of CrowdStrike Falcon. And this endpoint in this specific scenario is actually blocking the scenario because it's detecting that there is an attempt to install a malware. This is the crypto miner installation, and actually block this activity. And when I go back to the timeline here, you can see that in this step, it is mentioned that there is a tag here that is say blocked with CrowdStrike logo, meaning that the endpoint actually blocked this attack. And we also mark this attack as controlled. So the status of this attack is controlled because if it would try to execute the last step in this case, would not execute, will be blocked by the endpoint. When I'm going to this tab, the security advisor, It gives you a full description of the attack, what happens. You don't need to go and understand exactly all the step one by one to understand what happened in this scenario. We provide a clear, plain English explanation of the attack playbook. We also provide an explanation of the root causes. So each lateral movement in this attack scenario is enabled by some type of root cause. And I can even see it on the graph itself, on the timeline itself, if I'm hovering here over this icon of the magnifier glass. It says what is the root cause that allows that enables this lateral movement. So in the security advisor, you get all the root causes. From from that, you can go and see what are suggestions to enhance existing security, third-party security control. So in this case, we can see that we have here various suggestions for candidate rules to add to Splunk. You can see here that in this case, there are 9 suggestions. The customer can inspect them and say, okay, I think this rule is good, and I would like this one, and I like this one as well. Please generate a script in Python that will create these rules. So you can see here, this is the script that will actually, if you download it and execute it, it will add these rules to Splunk. So it's very nice way to enhance your existing control if you want to use them. Another thing is we provide is the response and remediation option. So you can see the same way we are showing you all the different response. So what would you need to do if this attack would actually be executed? What would be the proper script? So you can say, yeah, I understand that I would like to do this 2 actions. I would like to do these actions and this action. And please generate a Terraform script for me. You would hit the generate script. We'll create the script. You can then download it and get ready to this attack. This is what we call the proactive measures in the greater view of the continuous exposure management system. So we are showing you how you need to react, and this is the Terraform script that will stop the attack from being propagated. Obviously, we support all the different platform, AWS, Azure, and GCP. So you are covered if you are a multi-platform. We are covering you from all of this aspect. Another nice thing that we do is do analysis of the permission to understand whether a root cause that we see that is related to permission is actually over permissive. So what does it mean? So let's take this example. We see here that this lateral movement from one role to another was facilitated by a permission that is called STS assume role. Now, if I'm looking on the information that we provide for this step, you can see that some of these roles are over permissive, has excessive permission for this activity. This means that you can safely remove this permission for these roles. We are doing that by analyzing the behavior. So we have, as part of the platform, we have what we call a UABA, user behavior analysis, that understand what is the permission that actually being used versus the one that granted, and see the differences and match them to the root cause of the scenario, and then flag it if needed. So Jennifer, you mentioned the optimization and the way that we are reducing the noise. So what we are doing actually is tapping in to our different vulnerability management system. These are examples. This is an inspector. This is Cognito, Psycognito. This is Wiz. So each one of these indication for vulnerabilities came from these sources. What we actually do is analyze each one of the hundreds of thousands of vulnerabilities that this platform creates. First, we see if any one of these is actually exploitable, can be part of any type of an attack. Then we see in the actual environment whether it's weaponized. So the fact that something is exploitable doesn't mean that it's actually facilitate an active scenario. So we see that after analyzing more than 100,000 possible vulnerabilities, only 10% of them is even exploitable, and only a very small fraction is actually weaponized. So you can really dive in and understand that these are the CVEs that you want to remediate first and handle first, and not be confused by looking at all these critical vulnerabilities. Oh, I have 21,000 criticals and 50K high. Where do I start? And go fish. You can really focus on what's important and start there, and then expand your remediation as needed. Any question that you have, Jennifer?
No, I don't see any questions coming in just yet. And that, oh, should I not sure. So I think you touched on this already, Asaf, but there's a question around, you had mentioned this, there's not going to be any alerts. So how are we achieving that? So, and I think you touched on this. I forgot to say it in my slides because I just missed it. But so we do this in a simulation twin environment. So this is all done within our SaaS platform. There's no impact to your cloud. So we create a digital twin environment using all AI to create a replica basically of your cloud environment. And then we use the red team and the blue team to simulate the attacks. Asaf, would you add anything to that?
No, that's exactly right. This is completely hands off. It doesn't interrupt business. It doesn't change anything in the environment. All is done in our SaaS platform, as I said, on models that we are building in our environment.
Okay, great. So I will go back to sharing the slides then. Let's see. Okay. So these are the essential capabilities that we think you need to protect your cloud. So first, the AI-powered Purple team, I think you saw through the demo, it is really quite powerful. There's no impact to your business, and we're able to continuously simulate attacks and what's going on within the environment. We're able to give you the correct context for that. So you're focusing on the attacks, the alerts that are putting your most valuable business assets at risk. I'll tell you, we're at reInvent, and we had our booth up, and it says 500,000 alerts, 300 that matter. And this guy stopped by and he said, "What does that mean?" And he was a developer within AWS. He said, "Because I work on the dev team." And they're like, "Hey, we have the CNAPP. It says this is critical." I'm like, "Yeah, it's critical, but it's on the test environment." And they're like, "It doesn't matter. The CNAPP says this is critical. You need to fix this right now." So that context of critical alert on the test environment versus maybe a high alert that's putting out that can be weaponized, as Asaf pointed out, that can get someone to your critical business assets. So it's that context of how can it be weaponized, and also what's the business value of the at-risk asset. Those things help you really filter down and get to what actually matters. Asaf talked about this as well. It's agentless, multi-cloud. So, and you saw also within the platform that we can optimize things like Wiz or Incognito or Splunk. So we're basically the sense maker, if you will, around everything that's happening within your cloud environment, as it pertains to security. So you have all these tools, you have all these alerts, you have all this information coming flying at you. Wouldn't it be nice to have a platform that says, yep, you have all this, we're going to use that information, but we're going to tell you this is what is impacting your business. And then finally, the ability to operationalize CTEM. So to discover, analyze, simulate, evaluate, adapt, and improve. Not just say, hey, these are your problems, like, hey, here are your problems, and here are a couple ways to fix them. So in IBEX, we did a webinar with them in the last year around their environment in the cloud. So we did with Shlomi, he's the CISO there. So first, they talked about saving a lot of time with accurate alert prioritization. So again, knowing what's important, knowing what work needs to be done. They talked about going from like a day of trying to figure out what they should do to now they just meet a few hours in the morning and plan out their day. And they're actually able to focus on other work that isn't just like fixing things right now, but being more strategic and planful and trying to prevent things from happening instead of just reacting to things that are happening. So when he mentioned that, we're able to be proactive with our cloud security, and that's really hard to do. So great story there. So we've been mentioned in a lot of different Gartner research. So most recently we were mentioned in a hype cycle all around our intelligent simulation, simulation twin, whatever the terminology you want to use. But that enables you to be preemptive, enables you to test how is the environment going to respond in this attack scenario. Okay, now I need to update in this way to make sure that doesn't happen. So basically, using AI within your SOC is going to help you increase your efficiency. And if you're not using AI in your SOC through a platform like Skyhawk Security, know that threat actors are. They're using it to get better, faster, stronger with their attacks. So in not sure your role, but if you're the CISO, we talk about this being the sense-making platform. So able to up-level your conversation. Because I think especially when you talk with the board, if you were to say, hey, we resolved 300 alerts last week, and they say, oh, so are we secure? And you're like, I'm not sure. With this, you're able to show how you're actually reducing cloud risk, mitigating risk. You have plan A, plan B for whatever's going on with the environment. If you're in the SOC, reducing the noise, so you're focusing on what matters. For cloud architects who need to maybe make some of these changes for the SOC, they're not always able to update the cloud architecture to increase security. It's like, hey, this is why working on this matters. If you don't fix this, they're going to get to this X3 bucket that has our financial data or all our HR data that has all our employees' social security numbers and their direct deposit information. So it's able to show them, hey, this is why the work you're doing matters and helps us increase the security. Continuous validation for the red and blue team, so helping them understand what's going on. And then for DevOps leaders, it's agentless and integration with no impact. And that kind of goes also along with the cloud architects, showing them this is what needs to be done and why. So you're not fixing that critical alert on your test environment on a Saturday because it's not as important as something else. So, and how can you move forward? So we have a couple ways. So first, you can experience the Purple Team through our Purple Team assessment. We have a free 30-day trial. Also, you can sign up on our website. So that's how much we believe in the product. So Asaf, thank you so much for participating with the webinar today. The only question we had so far, looking in the chats, let me look over here, was the one around the simulation twin. Go over here. So actually, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. There we go. Q&A. Okay. Oh, pricing model. So sorry. I should have a slide on this because we get this question all the time. So we are priced by protected cloud asset. So think of an EC2 instance or an S3 bucket. That's how we price. And it's a subscription model. We can be very flexible. So those are the other, we just want to make sure that we're able to help you achieve your cloud security. So we try to be as flexible as possible. And those are the only two questions we got. So with that, I'll wrap up the webinar. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Asaf, thank you so much for helping me out. I always appreciate it. You did a great job on the demo, especially showing the new agentic AI that we announced at reInvent, which was the Splunk that you saw, the Splunk integration, the third-party tool validation for everyone in the audience, just to know what that aligns to. So with that, I wrap it up. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day.